Gonna show you today my techniques for the brakes and accelerator, kind of like brakes and accelerator in a car. Only this time, in this particular case, it's using your flight controls to help you slow down or speed up. So, brakes and accelerator. First of all, I'm going to take my friction off here, the cyclic, so it moves a little bit easier. Okay, and I'm going to show you here. Here is the cyclic, your stick. We got forward, aft, left, right. Okay, and so this controls what this stick does. This flight control here, it controls the overall angle of the rotor blades up on top. So if you want to go forward, it tilts. What it does, it tilts the mast forward, left, or right, or whatever, depending on which way you want to go. So you could actually use it to slow down or speed up. Going back aft would be to slow down. To speed up would be going forward. Then over here, next to me is the collective up and down. This controls the pitch angle of the blades of each blade, and this is the one that actually gives you lift, i.e., it's a power. But you would want to use these two together for the brakes. You want to use these two together, so it's going to be your brakes are going to be collected down and cyclic aft. For the accelerator, it's going to be collective up and cyclic forward. That's actually the accelerator. And the reason I'm using them together, the reason I use them together is because sometimes if you say for example you want to go, you want to speed up, so your cyclic forward, you push your cyclic forward to speed up, but you start descending. So you don't want to descend, so to compensate for that, you're going to pull up on your collective so you don't descend. So that's the accelerator, collective up, cyclic forward. And exactly the opposite for your brakes. For your brakes, like I said, you can pull your cyclic back. That will help slow you down. But if you start to climb, then what you want to do is you want your collective to go down. So collective down, cyclic aft. Those are your brakes. Accelerator, collective up, cyclic forward. Brakes, collective down, cyclic aft. So think of it as, I guess your cyclic, you can just use it as just a fine tune, I guess. I mean, if you need to make small adjustments to your speed, then you can just use just the cyclic. However, like I said, if you find yourself starting to climb or descend, then you need to throw in a little collective action along with it. Let's see, what else did I have here? Going to go over also my 3-step quick startup. Ordinarily, we use a checklist. The checklist helps to keep you, from making mistakes. Helps to keep it, one step at a time, i.e., step 1, step 2, step 3, blah blah blah, and keeps you from, in case you forget something. I believe everybody uses a checklist, but in the case that you might have to start up quickly, because sometimes the checklist can be time consuming, then you want an alternative, quicker startup. that's going to be lickety split 1, 2, 3. I'm started up. So the reason we call it the 3-step, the reason why I call it a 3-step is because it starts and ends with the 3 major cockpit components, i.e. Down here, or excuse me, up top, because this is where I started from, is the overhead console. I started from there. Step 2, down on the pedestal panel. Step 3, the instrument panel. So, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and kick this started here for my quick start. So, like I said, it starts up in the overhead, and I'm going to go first of all AC power to AC phase, inverter switch on, main generator on with the cap closed, voltmeter, it goes to ESS bus, battery on. Then you go down to the pedestal panel, going to extinguish the audible. Then I'm going to go to the caution lights panel here, test, and reset. Okay, and then while I'm down here, I scroll down and start turning on my radios. This one here, guys, the FM, or we call it the Foxtrot mic. I set it for transmit and receive. Going down, I don't need to set my ADF across. I go to the signal distribution panel, set it for INT. Then going up to my UHF radio, we call it the uniform, transmit receive. Going up, the VHF radio, or as we call it, the Victor, power on. And then I come back across over here. I'm going to make sure that my governor is set to auto. And I'm just going to check de-ice off, fuel on, hydraulics on, force trim on, IFF on. Then moving up into the step 3 process here is the instrument panel. Going to come up here, check my fire detector, it's good to go. And then I come over here, this is the HSI. I'm going to calibrate it to the standby compass here. We're looking at south, other direction, Dan. Heading south, and okay, keep going, Dan. And right about there is good. Okay, so last thing I do, actually, right there is going to be good. So I'm gonna go set up my throttle. Throttle up, throttle down, throttle up, throttle down. Okay, we should be good right there. Now, because I'm sitting on an airport here, one other thing I'm going to want to do is turn on my anti-collision lights. So, anti-lights. Anti-collision lights are on. And then I need to contact ATC for startup. ATC. And wait a minute. Let's see. Did I set my frequencies here? Notepad. So I had 122.800 notepad. 122.800. I'd hope I forget to set my frequency here, because otherwise ATC is not going to hear me. There's 800. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and test it. Okay, all right. F1. Copperhead 05. Request startup.
Infield 1-1. Request startup. Infield 1-1. Cleared for startup. Wind 340 at 3 meters per second.
Winds are out of the 340, coming from 340, so that's important to know, because when I pick up into a hover, I need to be pointed into the wind. So 340 on my HSI. And set my heading bug down here, little arrow thing right there. That's the direction we want to be facing when I pick up to a hover. Okay, so I'm clear, ready for startup. ATC's cleared me, so clear. You'll let my door clear. And now I'm looking out my gas producer gauge here. At about 10%, my rotor blades start moving. There it goes. There's 20%.
All units, push to Alpha.
There's 30. And 40, and we have startup. Doors. Get my doors closed so it's not so noisy outside here. So we have startup now. The engines are started, and my next steps that I want to do here, or that I like to do, is go back up to the overhead console, go on starter generator, goes to standby, and then I'm just going to go ahead and set the rest of my my internal lightings. And then my low altitude altimeter, set that. And then the last thing, I'm going to throttle up to full throttle. Looking for RPMs in the green, and right over here, the low RPM limit indicator light should come out. There it goes. And we are in the green. So that's a quick start. Pretty much normally it takes a little longer when you're using a list startup. Other things here, I'm looking at temperature out. Be sure I'm not going to need my pitot heat on. Like I said, the engine de-ice should not need to be turned on either. So I'm pretty much good to go there, other than the fact that I need to conduct my hover check. So I'm going to call in for a hover check here. Copperhead 05, request hover check.
Infield 1-1. Infield 1-1. Cleared for hover check. Wind 340 at 3 meters per second.
Okay. Clear right side, clear left side, clear up. Going to be picking up to about 25 psi. And I'm trying to avoid any rearward movement, pick up to 3 to 5 foot hover. Into the wind, so into the wind I go. There's 4 foot hover. And right there is in the wind. Came down a little bit, so back up. Went to a nice stable hover. That's the rear movement. Okay, there are no warning lights, everything's in the green. And set her back down. just all about making very tiny inputs on your cyclic when you're hovering. Set it down nice and easy. And that's it for me today. Record.